So each year as we gather in the fall, although it feels nothing like fall, it's our custom to offer water that we bring as a symbol of our connection to one another. Now, the water communion is a relatively new ritual for Unitarian Universalists, but we are a living faith tradition, so new rituals pop up now and again. And this particular one dates back to 1980 when two UU women, Carolyn McDade and Lucille Shuck Longview, were asked to create a worship service for the Women and Religion Continental Convocation of Unitarian Universalism. And I think their worship service was probably not as long as the name of the conference. But as they created this special service, the creators wanted to make a new ritual, one that spoke to our connectedness to one another, to the totality of life, and to our place on this planet. About this water communion, they have written, "Water is more than simply a metaphor. It is elemental and primary, calling forth feelings of awe and reverence, acknowledging that the ocean is considered by many to be the place from which all life on our planet came. It is the womb of life, and that amniotic waters surround each of us prenatally. We now realize that this worship service was for us a new story of creation. We chose water as our symbol of our empowerment." And that's the end quote. So the water from our water communion is saved from year to year. So it contains molecules from all over the world, from church members old and new, and even those folks who are no longer with us, although they continue to be with us in this water. And it is actually us, this community, that puts the holy in our holy water. And it is the same water, here it is, after being filtered and sterilized, which is used to bless and welcome new babies into our congregation. The babies are presented with a rose that has been dipped in this water. And I'm really excited, we typically do this on Christmas Eve, that we have not only one but two new babies to welcome into our community with this water. Ava Veronica Whitbeck, who is here, and Forrest Kiley, who has not made his first trip to church yet. He is just so new. So it's been quite a while since I've been this excited for Christmas Eve. So this year we're going to be sharing our water in just a slightly different way. Instead of just one general coming up and pouring of water and talking about it, we're going to do it in 4 stages. So first, we'll have a chance to share water that reminds us that while some have abundance, others have scarcity. So first, we will be invited to share scarcity, waters of scarcity. And this, we can also be talking about scarcity, not literal water scarcity, but scarcity in our lives. The second phase of sharing will be sharing water that symbolizes travel and movement and change. Third, we will share water that reminds us of life's storms, both literal and figurative today, our concerns, our worries, our frustrations, and losses. And finally, we will share what I simply like to call happy water, which is water that reminds us of the well springs of our lives. And please don't worry too much about sharing at the right time. There's no way you can really mess up water communion. And the great thing about these symbols is that they are always open to many interpretations. So the category you choose is not necessarily exclusive or binding. So first, when we're talking about our water of scarcity, I'm going to pour our water, our starter water, into this empty bowl in honor of those that don't have access to clean water. And also for all of those who are experiencing drought that affects crops and animals and livelihoods. In fact, you may not realize, but Corpus Christi and much of the Rio Grande Valley is currently under severe to extreme drought conditions. So if you would like to share water representing an awareness of scarcity, whether that's scarcity of water or scarcity in our community and our lives, please come forward bringing your water and pour a little into the common bowl. If you like, you're welcome to say your name and talk about your water very briefly, keynote briefly, and about the significance of this water to you. You can also pour the water without speaking if you so choose. So I would like anyone up who would like to pour some water for scarcity. If I didn't say so, we have a pitcher in case you didn't bring water of your own.
I'm going to use your picture and your mic. And this water is for Mario and for people like Mario. Mario's funeral is today. He was homeless for 6 years, and recently, because someone stopped in a park with water and saw him in his wheelchair with advanced skin cancer that killed him, was able to get him into an apartment where he lived for a month before he died.
This water is for anyone who feels that the wells of their heart may have run dry.
This is Corpus Christi water, which I put on my garden all summer, realizing how dry it is around this area and how drought-stricken the whole region is. And I'm scared about climate change. I'm worried about the changes that I've seen happening so rapidly in the world, and I'm frustrated by our leaders who are unable to really take any initiatives. So I hope that there will be some change happening. Good morning, I'm Rhonda. And this is not anything special except it came out of the tap here. But it's a reminder. To me, today reminds me that this is a commodity. I pay for it. And not everybody gets that luxury. And so as I was pouring this into my little vessel here, I thought about the people that cross our borders into South Texas and find scarcity of water, because there usually is none, and some of it has even been pushed over so they can't get it. And so that is what my water represents, life.
So I'm so blessed that I have my own water source where I live. We have our own well. And so I have an abundance of water in my life. I can go to my well and always have something to drink. And there are so many people that don't have that. So I brought water from my well, and then I also added something that's called flower water, but it's a concoction that we make, my partner and I, that's a blessing. We use it for rituals that we do. And so my intent is that we all have enough to drink, that we never thirst, and that we never hunger.
So I'm going to borrow some water here, and just thinking about the folks that are experiencing scarcity of compassion and community, and hoping that we can provide some sort of remedy for that here.
All right, now I invite you to share water that reminds you of the changes and transformations in your lives, your journeys, whether spiritual or physical. This is time for the travelers to come up. But one more for scarcity first.
For those people who may not have a parent in your life for some reason due to being ostracized by your parent or due to a death, this is for that scarcity in your life, and may you find something to fill that void.
I'd like to make this brief, but it's not really that brief, I'm sorry. This represents travel and the changing planet. So Karen and I went to Juneau in June, and this represents the melting waters of the Mendenhall and Tracy Arm glaciers as they disappear from our planet.
I'm Mark, and this is Alan, and my wife and my daughter over there. This water represents our family, and it represents the people in our family, which is y'all. It's got a little bit of Alan's soapy bubbles in it, and yeah, and anyway.
This is water from our trip to Alaska, Fairbanks, Alaska. And it was nice.
I'm thinking of water from 3 places that I was able to go all in this year, which is Spain, Peru, and Mexico, which brought me even deeper realization of how cultures mix up, about imperialism and about conquest, and about how we come out of that.
I'm going to borrow some water. I'm going to be pouring water to represent the change and travel that I and plenty of other people are taking, especially young people, to go to college, moving away from friends and family, and hopefully embarking on a positive journey into new communities.
I went on a journey. I took a year off from teaching after teaching middle school English for 17 years. And I was very scared to start teaching in high school, but I had a good week last week, and I'm pouring water just for people who are doing similar things.
All right, we're getting close to noon, so I'm going to call up folks who want to share the water of storms or waters that sustain us. That's the happy water. And please come right up and take the microphone to speak as the person in front of you is pouring their water.
I'm going to be pouring virtual water to celebrate the tears of joy and to remember the tears of sadness that David and I have shared with friends and family this year.
I'm pouring water for my family in Florida, in Jacksonville, and in Tampa Bay. We were fortunate with this one, but it's always a reminder of the power of nature and how dear our family is to us.
This is water from the bathroom sink here. Just to represent I've been a part of this community now for about a year. This is thankful water for everyone that I've met this year, the different groups I've been a part of, and I'm just really blessed to be here. So thank you.
The water I will pour will be water as it signifies life or hope. So it's a combination of both categories. Loved ones, friends, family. We've all been through a lot of recent stressors, but there's always hope for happiness, life, faith, and continuing on our life journey.
Last call.
All right, one more. So I would like to pour water in recognition of the holy connections that exist in our community.
girls mind being my water holder while we do our water blessing? Just hold it and face everybody. All right. All right. I'm going to read a little blessing for our water, and when I cue you, you say, "This water is sacred." Are you up for that? Yes. Okay. This water is sacred. May it continue to flow through this community with shining reflections of the unique gifts that flow through each of its members. This water is sacred. May it continue to nurture this community with sustaining hope that we journey together through ripples of growth and change. This water is sacred. May it continue to bless this community with loving reminders of our collective responsibility to one another and to the world. This water is sacred. May its ripples be a reminder that the changes and growth within this community bring movement and transformation to the world beyond our doors. This water is sacred. May its purity offer grace to our community and the willingness to forgive ourselves and one another when we make mistakes. This water is sacred. In moments when we are confused or uncertain, may it bring us clarity of purpose and commitment. This water is sacred. In moments when the reservoirs of hearts and spirits are drained by sorrow or pain, may it nourish them with the knowledge that we are surrounded by a deep and abundant love. Last time. This water is sacred. Thank you.